Okay, hey guys, it is Red Marvel here, back again, and Red Marvel Live, Red Marvel Live. This is the first of hopefully many weekly Red Marvel Live podcasts, where we will discuss everything regarding the latest in entertainment, TV, movies, games, manga, and more. I'm joined by a good friend of mine, Chainsaw, who's going to be helping me discuss the latest and greatest this week. Chainsaw, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. I'm glad to be here, and I want to thank Red Marvel for this opportunity.
Appreciate it, buddy. Appreciate it. So, hopefully, this is one of many. And like I said, we have tons of topics. And if you are watching, remember to like, share, and subscribe to Red Marvel. Follow us on Twitter and Twitch as well. Comment in the descriptions of anything in particular you want us to discuss. So, without further ado, let's go on to the first topic. The Batman. The Batman starring Robert Pattinson, which is obviously coming out next week. I guess the first thing really with this, Chainsaw, and I'll let you start with, is that what are you expecting from this movie? Are you expecting this movie to be successful or no?
I'm expecting this movie to be successful, and I know Patterson's seen as like not a great character based on his previous roles with Twilight and so forth.
Mm,
But for me, I'm excited with two aspects. It looks fresh and new,
mm,
and then the second thing is the detective element.
mm,
I know some people just go into these kind of movies for just action,
mm,
straight up action, just senseless entertainment. As
mm,
long as there's like a structure
mm,
to the movie,
mm,
is the Riddler, right? So
mm,
you want it to be more mysterious and like,
mm,
slow paced.
mm, mm,
I know. From what I know, it might not be per se slow pace,
mm,
but I genuinely think that if they miss this opportunity, then I think this might sound quite wild, but I don't
mm,
think Batman will ever like compete with any of the MCU
mm,
characters if they flop this movie.
mm.
Especially since Ben Affleck and Batman versus Superman
Yeah.
was a
Well,
thing. So if they
well.
flop this as well, there's no, for me there was no Batman in the future. Basically, they
Mm.
can't ruin this from this advantage point, in my opinion.
Jeez, I mean that's a fair point. I mean, there obviously are quite a few DC fans that want Batfleck, as they're calling him, back. Um, with obviously what happened with just Snyder's Batman versus Superman and Justice League build up. Obviously Christian Bale, Dark Knight sort of Batman previously. But I agree with you. I think there's been a gradual hype for this movie, and I do like the fact that unlike previous Batman movies, that they are going down a detective element to it, because for me that's probably one of Batman's key traits in the DC universe, is that he is intelligent, he is able to solve things despite the fact that he basically doesn't have any powers. He is able to get things done because of his ability to be a very good detective.
Yeah,
I mean, go on.
that's the wildest thing with this is like he doesn't have any powers, so
Mm,
he's not a superhero per
mm,
se. So
mm,
like other than brute strength, he needs intelligence to
mm.
outmaneuver the he's he's what do you call it, the villains
Enemy,
of the
the villain.
movie.
Yeah.
But like if he doesn't have the detective element, right,
Mm,
and he's not the main character of his own movie, because
mm,
you don't want him to be overshadowed by Heath Ledger's Joker, for
mm,
example, in A Dark Knight,
mm,
or in this movie potentially. I might be completely wrong, but the Catwoman might outshine
well, mm,
Robert Pattinson. So I'm just
mm,
hoping it's focused on him, and he shows his other sides to him, like
mm,
him breaking down evidence, him not just being a brute
mm.
that what I see Batman as.
Mm. I mean, I'm hoping also they don't spend a lot of time, because similar to almost like Tom Holland's Spider-Man, obviously gets MCU later, where they didn't spend a lot of the movie kind of building up, all his, what happened with his parents, that they died. Yes, spoiler alert, Bruce Wayne's parents were killed. That's not a spoiler. Everyone should know that by now. Come on.
They've
but,
repeated that multiple times.
exactly. So that's not a spoiler for anyone who's going to be in the comments. You spoiled it for me. That's not a spoiler. Okay, Bruce Wayne's parents get killed. It's just standard. But I'm just hoping that like they don't spend a lot of time on that, because that's already been established. We know that his parents, were killed when he was young. You can maybe give a brief 1 minute maximum flashback in the movie to reference it as part of his motivation, but I don't really want them to spend a lot of time dwelling on that when they can focus on, because I think the thing that I like about this movie is that along with the detective stuff, is that I think it's also focusing on Bruce Wayne when he's just starting out as Batman. You know,
But
he's not this sort of, so he is smart in terms of detective, but he's not as experienced as say Ben Affleck's or other iterations of Batman. So as a result, he's still learning, and he will still, and he'll obviously make mistakes. You know what I mean?
yeah, I know what you mean. Would this have any links to the comic books by any chance?
This movie, you mean specifically?
Yeah,
or
specifically.
I'm not sure whether this movie specifically will have a link to the comic books, but obviously, with the main villain being the Riddler, who I don't, aside from the Jim Carrey 90s version, who was quite eccentric, they've not really been able to think of him since. So all I know is that I know there is a Batman series where it does focus on Batman's early days as Batman, so maybe they might reference that.
But the main element, I guess, is Catwoman in this, because for me, I've never seen a decent Catwoman performance. I know someone's going to probably mention in the comments and so forth that there was this and so forth, but for
Michelle
me,
Pfeiffer in the original.
no. But even then, I completely, I don't know. Maybe I'm just a hater, but that's the issue with Batman movies, in my opinion. It's like I've not seen a great side character. Again, someone might ruin me on this, but like I'm just hoping Robert Pattinson does the job. He performs well. He's put in situations that make sense, or situations that the viewer would like to see, right? And then the story develops from there, right? And then Catwoman's just an addition, like that little extra that you get to support the story, like an anchor type thing. But if she overshadows Robert Pattinson, or she's just there for the sake of being there, that for me personally will ruin the movie. I'm presuming other people will be similar mindset to me.
Well, you'd imagine that in a movie called The Batman, it should focus on the Batman, So,
you could look at Dark Knight and you could argue it's not the Dark Knight, as in it's not Batman.
No, it's
the
Joker. Yes, exactly.
And
No, I
Two-Face.
agree. It's been like that. So this is the purpose of balancing characters and having them support. So, but yeah, I guess we'll see what happens. And obviously, guys, for those who are watching, I will be posting a review of the Batman next week as well. And stay tuned for Batman versus Punisher versus series that I did with HH, and that'll be
that's
this week.
That series is amazing between HH and Red Marvel. But what's your opinion? Do you think it's going to be a flop or a success? Because from the vibe I'm getting, you're 50-50. Maybe I'm wrong.
I mean, it could potentially be a flop with the critics, but I think with the fans, I think that it will be because I think for starters, it's the first kind of superhero movie, like big superhero movie of the year. Because what was it? Far from the recent Spine, that was in December, wasn't it? Yeah. So it's the first kind of, so it doesn't really have any competition in that respect. It is the first big one. So unless it's like really badly written, I think it's going to make a lot of money. A lot of people are going to be going to see it because it's like the first big movie of the year.
It'll probably gross $1 billion. But just as a fun fact, with Dark Knight Rises, I watched the movie 3 times, and all 3 times, I went to sleep halfway through the movie, in the exact same point. I'm not even lying. That
Dark Knight.
literally, I know people say it's an amazing movie, and it's not just the best Superman or superhero movie. It's like one of the best movies in general. Bro, I've slept through the same point each time, three times in a row.
I don't even know who's saying that, because I make a question whether it's the best, but that's
People do say that.
The best, one of the best. Dark Knight Rises, really? Dark Knight.
People do say that. Trust me. And I went to sleep each 3 times, and the only other show that's ever done that to me, right? Well, this is a movie, but there's only one show that's not a movie that's ever done that to me is Death Note. It's like after episode 7, I used to sleep all the time. Like I would go to sleep, I wouldn't go past episode 7. So Dark Knight Rises is the movie version of that. So I'm hoping that this lives up to the hype. Robert Pattinson smashes it, and then we get a great, viewing. I'm just hoping. I'm more hope than hype.
More hope than hype. More hope than hype. And speaking of more hope, that actually makes us transition into our next segment, actually, and that is the future of the MCU. Obviously, in the image that you can see next to you, see essentially 3 different Spider-Man, obviously from the really, really popular No Way Home Spider-Man movie that was released in December, featuring Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, and really opening up the MCU to the multiverse, which is going to be further expanded in Doctor Strange into the multiverse, ironically enough, which has already teased potentially cameos from the X-Men as well as others. So it's clear to me that the MCU wants to continue to expand, and that they really want to incorporate a lot of past characters into their franchises. Chainsaw, like, what do you see in this? I guess maybe the question should be, what is the near future of the MCU and what is the far future of the MCU? So maybe start with what you think the near future of the MCU is. Like this coming year, early next year, and then maybe beyond that.
So if I'm right, there's going to be a new X-Men movie, right? In the near future.
Yes, I think it's coming in phase 5, but they are doing.
Okay.
But they did announce a new X-Men animated series that's going to continue the 90s
that's
series.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So okay, that's phase 5. So that's more not in the medium future, let's say, or not too far.
Not too far, but
not too soon.
Soon, yes, exactly.
But if you're talking about what's going to come up in the recent times, we'll get obviously Doctor Strange, which again for me is 50-50. Based on, it looks entertaining. I don't know much about Doctor Strange, I'll be honest, but from the trailer that I saw, it looks super entertaining. If you're just viewing it in just plain entertainment, you're just going in there for just a vibe. That movie looks good for that. But for substance wise or story wise, I'm questioning the decisions MCU keeps making. Okay. So I'm seeing a disaster coming soon. Okay. For MCU. Obviously,
so
people.
A disaster meaning what? Like, what do you mean by disaster?
Oh, not financially. Obviously, you'll probably still make $1 billion, but like people's opinions will be like, just stop making superhero movies, or at least delay it. You know what I mean? Other than the main ones like Spider-Man and so forth. Just these side characters. No offense to Doctor Strange fans. Are you a Doctor Strange fan person? Just to make sure I don't offend you.
No, I mean, I don't have any real issue with Doctor Strange. I wouldn't say he's my favorite character in the MCU. So it wasn't my favorite movie, but yeah, I've grown up with him, I guess.
For me, he's just a side character or the side main character, or like those ones that if he gets taken out by Thanos, you don't care as much. But like, for me, the future looks so bleak, and I'm speaking on behalf of let's say 25% of the audience that's sick and tired of like the same recipe for each MCU movie. And you know the worst thing is they keep adding comedy or comedic elements.
Yeah.
When there's serious moments, and topple that with a generic storyline or a storyline where the ending before the movie's even started. You know what I mean?
The MCU humor is I agree is a big issue, especially when they're trying to do a serious point. Like drives me insane. Just where you're like, okay, this might finally have a bit more depth, and then like, oh, too late. We need to remember. We need to remind ourselves that we're a Disney movie. So let's
And
go down that line, you know.
and that then develops to the movie being what 13 rated or 13
Mm,
plus, rather
mm,
than it being 18 plus or at
mm,
least a 15 plus,
mm,
right? And they restrict what they can do, a
mm,
bit like the Joker movie that we had recently.
mm.
That what did it grossed a billion, I think, as well.
Close to that, I think. Yes, yeah, yeah.
900 million, I guess,
Mm, mm.
around that figure, and it wasn't aimed for the 13 plus audience. It was
No.
ranged higher, so like they could definitely change the trajectory. But again, Doctor Strange is not going to do that. We all know what the formula
Mm,
is going to be, unfortunately. And there is potential in Doctor Strange and the storyline, but like again, multiverse and all that becomes too much. It's a bit like the criticism other people have is that you have to watch all these movies just
mm.
to catch up to a side movie, if that
Yeah,
makes sense. To catch up to Captain Marvel or Doctor Strange, you have to watch all these other movies. You know what I mean?
yeah. No, I agree, and I think that one of the things, you know, going back to the rating points, really, is that, um, and my issue, I guess, with it is that like, there's certain characters, especially in the comics, that are by definition 18 characters. You know, Deadpool is an example, Blade is an example. You know, and we know that the Deadpool and Blade characters are in the MCU, so I still think, you know, the first Blade movie is one of the best superhero movies or comic book movies, whatever you want to call it, of all time. Personally, I think it's one of the best. I even controversially think that it was better than Black Panther, the first Blade movie. It was that good.
I agree with that.
And frankly, the Blade franchise like actually saved Marvel, because had it not been successful, Marvel wouldn't have had the money to go and do what they wanted to do. And then Spider-Man, you can argue the same similar thing, you know.
You mentioned Spider-Man, and we have all three in front of us, and obviously people rate them 1, 2, 3, and so forth.
Mm,
But you know, in No Way Home,
mm,
when I know again people say, "Oh, the context of the movie or the context of the scene." Of
mm,
course, Toby was going to come in the way he came in,
mm,
and obviously Garfield will come in the way he came in, and so
mm,
forth. But for
mm,
me, the reason why I was super hyped was because I was thinking Tom Tom was going to be in a situation where he's struggling, and then or both would just pop up, and give that classic scenes of them popping up and coming down. But that never happened. And then, if I'm being honest, all three of them are trash actors. All three of them, even Garfield. I
really?
know people. Yeah,
Garfield?
I know people.
Hmm.
I know people rate Garfield, but for me, for the role specifically for that role, he's trash in my opinion. Like he might be a good actor elsewhere, but I
Mm.
don't think he suits Spider Man. That's just my opinion.
I mean,
And then
in my opinion, I think I think that my issue with Garfield in the Amazing Spider-Man series was more so that the script than him as an
oh
actor.
yeah, the
You know.
script as well. But for me, he doesn't. Just look at him. He doesn't look like what Spider Man's meant to look like, in my
Okay.
opinion.
Okay.
So like he just doesn't give you that image. And then obviously Tom and Toby, you don't need to discuss their acting skills. Toby only gets a pass because he's the OG or the first one, right? But Tom is just, and you'll see it this weekend because you're gonna watch a certain movie. Of course,
Yes,
we'll
which we're
discuss
going to
it.
talk about later.
Yeah,
Yes.
we're gonna talk
Yeah.
about it later. But
Yeah.
good luck to that. But by the way, but
Yeah.
like you'll realize even more so why he's the worst out of all three. But overall, again, Spider-Man will always sell a billion or billion
Mm,
plus,
mm,
and
mm,
the certain aspects of the MCU will always carry on. I'm just
mm,
hoping they put a delay, not even a few years, a couple year delay, and then release quality movies
mm,
without the generic comedy and all that nonsense.
mm. No, I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree, and obviously this was a entertainment channel, so we will obviously be coming back to it. And certainly when the new Doctor Strange movie comes out, you'll be seeing us cover it here. Now, moving on to our third topic, which I must confess, I don't know that much about. So Chainsaw is going to take the lead. A really highly rated video game coming out, and that is the Elden Ring. The Elden Ring. Chainsaw, bro, like just inform the guests, inform the people that be watching this, like why should people be hyped for this, and why should people go out and buy this game?
Okay, there's multiple reasons. I haven't played the game yet,
Mm.
but from the reviews I've seen and from the hype that this game is getting, if you played Dark Souls, have you played Dark Souls?
I've not. No, I've not.
So-
no, but
so-
I know of Dark Souls. Yeah.
Yeah. So if the viewers have played Dark Souls, I'm presuming most of them have, they will understand what kind of vibe this game is.
Mm.
And the main thing that I like is like it's an open world. It's not completely open world, but like the fact that it's like a dark theme or a dark mysterious theme. And obviously I'm going to play it and I can't wait to fight the bosses and so forth in the game. And the fact that you can use NPCs, you can have your own NPCs, and the game's meant to be difficult. Of course, difficulty is one thing modern gaming is missing, because obviously I played Halo Infinite recently, and it was a quality game, but like at the end of the day, you want a challenge and you want something that's unique and enjoyable to play. And Elden Ring is basically that. And just for a reference that you would know, one of the people behind this game or collaborating with this game is George R.R. Martin.
Okay.
Obviously, GOT. We don't talk about GOT over here because that last season, that's a topic for another day.
Yes.
But he's still a good writer, though. In my opinion, he's still an amazing writer, and he was collaborating in this game. So this is an action role playing game. So obviously, if the thing is, this is more of a recommendation at the moment from me, and obviously most people who are watching this are already playing the game. But there's a lot of elements that a lot of people would like, and the thing is, if you're looking for a game or you're a bit burnt out playing games, try something new, or just carry on with this game. It lives up to the hype. From all the reviews I've seen, from clips I've seen already, I'm super hyped. I can't wait to play this. And trust me, Red Marvel, you got. I don't know if it's your type of game, but even if it's not, I'll still say just play it. Just try it out.
Fair.
Because I don't know what kind of games are you into.
To be honest, I don't play I just don't have the time really these days to play.
That's true.
So that's the big problem. Like, I will game, but I just don't have the time for right now. I've got my PS4 has been carrying dust, and I've got such a backlog to go through that I haven't bought a new game in ages because I've got to play quite a few. I'm actually and I might talk about this later. I am actually a fan of the Yakuza series, so I play that quite a bit. I've got Ghost of Tsushima to go through.
That's a great game.
Spider-Man to finish. The one on the PS4. And then just so many others, man. So yeah, I've got a backlog that I will attack at some point.
I'll play this game this weekend, specifically Saturday, and I'll come back to this next week and I'll give you a proper review of the game. But from what I've seen just the beginning bits. I've seen a few clips, and because I like Dark Souls personally, I know that this game will be an amazing experience. So, and plus, I'm not fatigued or tired from playing games on my Xbox. But the thing is, when there's something new, you gotta play. You need to try out. I'm just that type of guy, and thankfully, with Game Pass, usually Game Pass, game day one you get a game. Elden Ring is different. I have to, buy it. But like, trust me, it's a huge recommendation. Next week I'll probably go into it in more detail.
Yeah.
Because it just recently came out. It literally just recently came out. But like, trust me, just play it. That's my ultimate advice for this. And then this will then link into going back to movies and so forth.
Obviously, in our final topic, I think talking about stuff looking forward to the weekend. Obviously, for those who don't know, the Uncharted movie, which obviously stars Tom Holland as Nathan Drake, for better or worse. movie made by Sony, which is based obviously on the Uncharted franchise, on the Uncharted Sony franchise. You can see obviously this image is obviously taken from or it's in reference to the Uncharted 3 game actually. And I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna be posting review hopefully tomorrow about
pray
it,
for pray for Red Marvel. Hashtag pray for Red Marvel.
I'm seeing it's getting panned in the things, but I do want to give it a chance and see, because the Uncharted series is a favorite of mine. I played off the first 3, didn't finish the first 4 because that's another game I've got to finish Uncharted 4 because I just haven't had the time.
You got a long list of games to play.
I've got a backlog stretching back for almost 2 or 3 years. It's insane.
That's insane.
So, but I've got that, which means that I'm not buying anything anytime soon. Aside, I think the only game I'm interested in buying this year is the new Sonic game when it comes out. But that's about it really. So, because I've got so much to play, but yeah, I mean, I said my thoughts about this, that I generally think that I don't think that Tom Holland, you know, that I mean, I get why they're doing it, because they want to make this an Uncharted, much like movie companies these days seem to think that moviegoers want consistency and want the same actors for legacy. So it doesn't make sense to get a mid-30s year old Nathan Drake to play the character.
Yeah.
How many years are you going to really have him? So you want to get someone who's young, who's able to do the role for at least 10 years. So you can milk as much as you want from him until you build up another character to take their place.
Exactly. And Tom Holland will get you sales.
Exactly.
Get bums on seats, basically.
Exactly.
And even though I don't understand how that works, because who even is a Tom Holland fan? Like, who's the audience?
I mean, even in quotes Sully, who's Mark Wahlberg, who looks more like Nathan Drake than Tom Holland does, because Mark Wahlberg doesn't look like Sully. He doesn't have the old humor like Sully, you know.
True.
So, but I mean, like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and guys, I'll let you know my thoughts, you know. So, but I'm gonna go with an open mind.
I know you're going unbiasedly, right? But I'm prepared for like a rant focused on Tom Holland.
Well, like I said, bro, stay tuned, guys. I will be posting something. I'm gonna probably watch it in the early afternoon tomorrow. Before I do my work shift, and you'll get it. You get it raw. And
are you gonna watch it tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it tomorrow morning / early afternoon.
Okay.
My thoughts and the review should be there in the evening, and hopefully, we'll do a Nathan Drake versus Laura Croft versus battle, and that should be released sometime.
Laura Croft would lose that battle. I'm just giving you a spoiler.
Put that Tomb Raider versus the Uncharted series.
Tomb Raider has literally no story or no substance. That's the key word. Substance.
That's fair. Although apparently the reboot is better in that respect, but I've not played the recent.
No, but the story, because when I played Tomb Raider, was like
on the PS2
10 years ago. Like it was a long time ago, and I never understood the story. Just never did. From what I remember, you're raiding tombs, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much. Tomb Raider, you know. Just basically a bounty hunter, but they did do a reboot recently on the PS4, which adds a bit more depth to a story, which I do have, and is also on my game list of games to finish through. But
how many years do you have? Like 10 to play or 12? Maybe even 30.
I've lost count. I've really lost count of the amount of games that I have to sort of to go through really. But I'm motivated because I do want to do video game reviews on this channel, guys. And for those watching, we'll be doing.
You know what? I'll suggest, if you play, like, let's say, or dedicate just 1 hour in the weekend, just play one specific game. And then just review it from there. Like, give your first thoughts or first opinions, I guess. And then build from there. But like, well, good luck with that as well, because you've got a lot of games to play.
Yeah, no,
a lot to catch up to.
I do.
You know what? You should just go to classical games and then move from there. or jump forward,
Oh
or
yeah,
just
no,
go to latest games, I guess.
I go the ones that I was in the middle of playing and then wrap them up so that I can finish them because I'm in the middle of them. So I don't want to start from the beginning and then start the new ones. So I need to finish Uncharted 4 and Yakuza Kiwami 2 are the ones that I'm sort of getting through, and then I'll then go on to Ghost of Tsushima and then some.
That's great. That's a great list of games. And just a little heads up to everyone. Uh, Red Marvel and I would also go through Attack on Titan, but when the last episode is about to air, we'll give our opinion and so forth. And then that's something to look forward to as well.
Absolutely,
That's
absolutely.
that's happening soon. And also, we might have to discuss you know, like not just animators, but like in general in the industries across movies,
Yeah,
anime, gaming industry as well.
yeah,
I've also
yeah,
got to talk about the voice actors.
yeah.
Jen Taylor, who voices Cortana from Halo, right?
Mm,
She basically said that obviously I'll go into more in depth with this in next week's episode, but
mm,
like she literally said that she does the voice lines. She
mm,
only gets paid for that 1 hour or let's say
mm,
3 hours for that
mm,
day, and
mm,
she gets no commission even if the game sells 10 million plus copies.
mm, mm, mm,
So they only get bare minimum. And
mm,
then the other voice actors that just do one line for the game, right?
mm,
They get paid peanuts.
mm,
But
mm.
that's the industry, gaming
Yes,
industry in
yeah,
general.
yeah. And we do have to have a conversation about the ethics of the game industry, amongst other things. I
Oh yeah,
definitely
and yeah, we've had all that nonsense from what was the two companies, Activision and
and EA
Blizzard.
presumably.
Yeah,
Mm,
it's like the work environment and
yeah,
the culture behind it. But yeah, there's
we
a
will.
lot to break down
There's
in
a
that
lot to
department.
break down and definitely a lot to discuss next week. Definitely. Guys, thank you so much for those who be watching. Make sure you get involved in the comments, hit like, subscribe to Red Marvel. Thanks to Chainsaw for obviously coming on, and obviously stay tuned. We will be doing more of these, more topics, potentially even more guests as well. So yeah, it's bye from us. It's bye from me and Chainsaw.
Yeah,
Um,
remember to like and subscribe.
Indeed, indeed. Have a nice day, everyone. And cheers.
Peace.